What's up, guys? Welcome to AirBehr Chat. I am not Bear, but I'm here with Air.
And who are you?
I'm Gootecks, and I'm an American taking a Canadian's job right now.
Welcome to AirBehr. We teach you how to street fighter.
So France, it's an event, it's a tournament that I had been, trying to mentally prepare myself, for a while. I got the opportunity to go because my friend Victor invited me out there and housed me and hosted me and stuff. So I was really lucky to get the opportunity because I'd never been to France, I'd never been to Cannes Winter Clash, and this was the first stop of the Pro Tour. So I flew from Portland to here in Vancouver for a night and then flew off to France. And it was crazy, man. Like I got there at like 8 a.m. on Wednesday. The tournament was Friday, but Cannes and Paris are like an hour and a half away by plane. So I had a night in Paris when I got there. And I mean, throughout the day, the first day, I played some games with Victor. We played a bit online. But then I talked with Alioun, and he invited us to come train at his new spot. So I went over there, and he was playing Chun, and this was probably the first time that I really the first time that I really got a long set in with a Chun player. And man, at the beginning we were going pretty even, but then
You were using Mika Ryu?
I used Mika to start, and it was pretty clear that he had studied the matchup because he knew that you could low profile the drop kick, and he was able to do that on reaction. And it was like at the beginning I was going kind of even with him, but the longer that we played, the worse that it got. So he just beat my ass like pretty bad, but he wasn't entering the tournament, so I felt relieved in the sense that at least I knew I wasn't gonna have to fight
And you
him.
actually get like a training partner right there,
Yeah. So I mean, I tried everything. I tried Mika.
But wait, why didn't he join? Was it too far?
He had just moved into. He just bought a new apartment, and
Oh,
so
I see.
it was like moving
So it's
stuff that
busy
weekend.
to
Yeah,
join.
something
Okay.
like that. So yeah, I mean, real life. So I tried everything, man. Mika, Ryu, Birdie. I tried everything, and it didn't matter. And it was probably during that set that I was like, wow, I don't see how Chun is not the strongest character in the game. And if I'm trying to win or qualify or whatever, I need to put aside ego and just use whatever is going to be most effective. So it was probably during that set I was like, man, like I'm probably going to drop Mika. I'm probably going to drop Ryu, because if I just focus full time on Chun, like,
You felt like using a top tier would, bring you the
Yeah.
best result, right?
yeah. In that moment, maybe my head was clouded because of the severe beatings that I took. And also, man, getting around France was an adventure in and of itself, man. Like, my friend Victor, he has a scooter, and it was cold up there, and so I rode on the back of the scooter for 30 minutes to go to Alioun's place. And like, if you haven't ridden on the back of a scooter in the freezing cold, weaving in and out of traffic, like, dude, you drive a nice car. I drive a car in LA, man, but riding on the back of a scooter in French traffic, if you haven't done that to pursue your passion, you haven't lived, man. Holy smokes. It was scary.
And you told me it was raining at the same
Yeah,
time.
it's raining. Dude, it's cold. It's raining. Like, oh my God.
You were all soaked, of course.
I was soaked. I mean, like, I had a scarf. I pulled it up. It didn't matter, man. It was so cold. But I was like, in my mind, I'm just like riding on the back of the scooter. I'm like, this is the cost.
Right.
Like, if I'm trying to train with
Achieve
the
your
best
goal,
players. If I'm trying to
basically.
achieve my goal, like this is what I have to do. This was like the French fighting. This is like the French Street Fighter equivalent of like walking to the top of the mountain to fight the master. You know, like that.
Under the waterfall.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Like Alioun is just like sitting there, just waiting. Like you know.
So I've been waiting.
Yeah, I've been waiting, man. But it was worth it, and you know, I'm not gonna say that I learned. I learned not. I didn't. I won't say I learned the Chun match. I just learned how strong Chun-Li is and what the potential was because I hadn't seen it. I hadn't seen it like that yet. And he told me. He did give me a very, very important piece of advice, which was that he said that playing Ryu in the tournament was risky because, you know,
Everyone
it's
knows
just
the
Ryu.
matchup?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
It's just Ryu. And I was like, okay, Alioun. I mean, I hadn't even gotten to the tournament yet. So I was just, I was just like, okay, like I just put that one in the memory bank because, as I'm on this journey, I have to try to pay attention to like all of the signs or all of the things that people tell me because like, oh, maybe I should, I got to listen and I got to, I have to be open to everything that people tell me, especially somebody who just destroyed me. So the following day we flew to France and this was Thursday night. And we stayed pretty far from the venue, so there weren't by accident. So it wasn't like we got a chance to play with a bunch of the players. But day one of the event was the team tournament. And so Cannes Winter Clash, for those of you guys that don't know, it's actually held within a game festival. So
Okay.
like it's
So the convention.
It's a tournament within a huge convention, but convention really doesn't even really do it justice because it was a very unique experience.
So what did they have there? Only gaming stuff or everything?
It was all gaming, but it wasn't just like video games. So there were like tabletop games, card
wow.
games. There was like escape room games.
Very popular
There was tournaments. There was virtual reality. There was this one, like it was a game where you're like racing a little race car, but they had a video camera on the car.
Okay.
So you're controlling it in like a Daytona USA type of, with a steering wheel and stuff and pedals, but you're driving this little race car with a video camera on it. It was
cool.
crazy, man. There were like lightsaber battles. Like it was
So everything you think of.
And the thing was, what I found out later is it was free. So there were
To join anything, you just have to line up.
yeah, there was
Wow.
tons of people there, families, and there were so many young people I felt that were, kids like under the age of 10 that were watching Street Fighter and Smash being played competitively that I'm sure they'd never seen before.
Right.
So like to me, Cannes Winter Clash and the festival that it was at, I mean, they're literally planting the seeds of like the next generation. And I was really impressed with the way that they ran the tournament. There was so much. There were so many setups to play casuals. There were sticks available if you were retarded and didn't bring one like I did, like I didn't. And yeah, I mean, everybody was really nice. And this was the first opportunity that I had to play, not just the French community, but Cannes Winter Clash actually is like a magnet for all of the strong European players.
So it's basically the whole Europe.
Yeah, and Cannes is where they have the Cannes Film Festival and all these other crazy events that have nothing to do with gaming. But like, it's so far from Paris that basically everybody's traveling to it. Like almost nobody was local to the area. So you had the best players from the UK, Belgium, Denmark, Sweden, France, and Morocco. And I'm sure I'm forgetting some other countries too. Oh, Spain. Spain.
Yeah. Whole Europe, right?
Yeah.
And especially as the first stop for
Exactly.
CPT.
Oh.
Everyone felt like they have a better chance,
And Kendevu.
Right.
Yes.
Even from Japan.
Yeah. And so as of Friday, man, I played in the team tournament, and
Who do you team with?
my friend Victor, he's okay. He's not like I mean, he's the
Shout out to Victor.
yeah.
All
Shout
right,
out
let's
to
move
Victor.
on.
Yeah. he's okay. He's okay. We spent some time training, and this other guy, Rayux, who is a French commentator, and he's also named Ryan, and he also played Armika.
So there.
Yeah.
What was Victor's character?
Victor was playing Karen.
Okay.
So we put up Victor first, just to see who everybody else.
Just
would
to test
play.
the water,
Yes,
you know.
Just to test the water. Shout out to Victor. I'm not sure if we told him that, but it didn't matter.
So you were actually the bait.
Yeah.
To see.
Yes, to see. Well, I mean, dude, you gotta see, right? What are they
Right,
put up
right.
first? And but from watching Ryuk's play, I was able to see a lot of the stuff that he was doing with Mika.
So is he a very strong Armika player? Okay. How did he do in the tournament?
So in the team tournament, I think he lost most of his matches, and I think he was more focused on commentating during
Okay.
singles. So I felt that he was a very knowledgeable player, but his tournament performance, I don't think, reflected how much he knew about the
Also,
character.
like kind of like an experience in an actual battle.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much. I think he's more focused on commentating.
Okay.
But with that said, when I was watching him play, both in teams and when we played in casuals, like I was watching this stuff. I was watching this dude do stuff with Mika that I myself was not doing. So I was able to watch what he was doing, integrate that into my game Friday night and Saturday morning before I went to the tournament, and it was really helpful because. Yeah, I totally stole his shit, and you know, try to build on it and improve. But I played Ryu in the team tournament so that we wouldn't be like unbalanced.
But wait, oh, I see. You didn't want the same character.
Right.
But you didn't want to because Aliyun told you not to, right?
I mean, I was still like, I still felt that my Ryu was stronger because
Mika, okay.
because when I would see Ryuk's do all of his stuff with Mika, I was like, dude, like I'm not doing so much stuff with Mika. I should just stick with Ryu
I
and then
see.
work on that tonight.
So you felt like your Armika wasn't complete to.
It was, yeah, she was not complete. And as I played all these guys in tournament and in casuals, man, they were fucking me up. Like, it was bad. I was like, dude, I don't even, as of Friday, like, I didn't even think I was going to get out of pools. There was a guy from Belgium, actually, this guy named CCL. This guy played, he was also playing Chun.
Okay.
And I was like, man, like, if I have to fight this guy, like, it's, you know, after.
That's it,
after
right?
yeah, that's it. And there were. I was also surprised. I mean, just being like, excuse my North American ignorance, but I didn't realize that like a tournament in the south of France would attract players from Morocco.
Okay.
You know, which is like in Africa.
Right, right.
But they have a scene and they had some really strong players too. And so I basically lost a lot on Friday, mostly playing Ryu. And then Friday night and Saturday, I worked on trying
So
to.
the tournament didn't start till Sunday.
Yeah. So
That's why you had
singles
2
didn't.
days. Okay,
yeah.
so you had 2 days to train.
I
kind of.
actually, yeah, it actually worked out really well because this is the first tournament that I went to where teams was completely separate and Saturday was nothing but Street Fighter 4 and Sunday was all Street Fighter 5 singles. So I was able to watch what Ryuk's was doing and then train that Friday and Saturday afternoon and then basically go and then test it out. And so Saturday I spent all day playing casuals and like before I was like, oh man, like, should I try to play as many people as possible? And it sounds stupid in retrospect, but like, I was unsure whether or not I should play as many people as possible or try to like not be more
Yeah.
selective
Kind of like
because
hide your tech and stuff, right?
Exactly.
A lot of, I think that's a lot of not. I can't say it's a mistake. That's a lot of people's.
A lot of people think of
top players like they
they don't want to get
do that.
downloaded.
Right, and I can't say it's wrong, but I think it's stupid. I
Yeah.
think the more people you play, you actually learn more from it, and you can download your opponent at the same time.
The download is a
Right.
two-way.
Exactly.
It's a download and an upload.
Right.
Yeah. And so I just tried to focus on. I was like, okay, you know what? I need to play as many people as possible because I don't want to get surprised.
Right.
And it actually worked out at the end because when all was said and done, I realized that every match that I had to play in tournament and every match that mattered, because I tried to play as many people as possible, I actually ran into all of the guys that I would have to play in tournament.
So basically, you play casuals with them and inside the tournament.
Yeah, and there were definitely guys in the tournament that got top 8 that I didn't run into in the bracket, and I also didn't run into in tournament. But everybody that I fought in tournament, I played in casuals. So like, for me, the takeaway was that when I travel to a tournament, I should not try to. Maybe I can try to like hide tech or whatever, but I should not
Avoid
shy
playing
away.
anyone.
I should
Yeah,
not
yeah,
avoid
yeah.
playing anyone. In fact, I should try to play everybody
Exactly.
so that I'm not surprised because even guys. Oh, there was an after party right at Le Hive, which is the
I have no clue where that is. Anyways.
the Hive.
The Hive. Oh, okay.
Le Hive.
Is that French?
Yes, they have a French esports bar. They have an esports bar in Cannes, which is like Cannes is like a beach city. Mm-hmm. So it's crazy that they have it there. So they had an after party, and the first night I went, man, I got my ass kicked like by all kinds of different players.
So the after party was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
It was technically only Friday and Saturday, but we ended up there on Sunday too.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. And so even in that instance where I had to fight a different, there was this guy from Spain, and he was playing Ryu, very aggressive, and I played him in the mirror match, and he beat me, but it was really close, and I had to play him on Sunday, and it was only because I had played him Friday that I was like, I knew I had a handle on how he played, but I didn't play Ryu. I played Mika.
But you still kind of know his style.
I knew
right?
I had a feeling what to expect.
Yeah, you know what to look for.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, so Saturday, they published the brackets. And there was like a bracket reshuffling because at first I was in like Starnap's pool, but then they changed everything. So I knew that I was going to have to fight King Funk, who is a birdie player from Denmark.
Okay.
And I'd read, I followed him on Twitter, but I'd never met him in person until this event. And I'd read some of his articles because he's a very, 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 very smart player. And, somebody who also writes stuff. Like I like to read other people's stuff. Mm-hmm. And I knew I was going to have to fight him. And I was like, damn, like this guy is a smart guy who's playing a character that I've consistently struggled against.
Okay.
Because Birdie's just been giving me so many problems. I try to learn the character, but it didn't matter. So I was like, okay, Saturday and Sunday, I got to work on something specifically for King Funk. Mm-hmm. So I worked on this one setup that was basically like an evolution of what I saw Ryuk's do. It was like crouching heavy punch, the shoulder tackle into V-trigger, and then switch sides into either having him block or having him hit a button. So if he hit a button, I would crush counter. If he blocked, I would command grab. Mm-hmm. So I trained the situation specifically on Sunday, which was good because after not knowing what to do against LPN and how to train against Birdie, I just kind of had a better idea doing it the second time in France. And some of the stuff that I trained against, that I worked on against LPN, it came in handy versus King Funk. So I put him in the situation when we actually played.
Well, you use Mika.
Mm-hmm. Because from playing LPN in Portland, I was like, I feel more comfortable with Mika. Like some people say that like it's a bad match for Mika, but I think Ryu and Mika have the same problems have similar problems with Birdie. But the thing that makes me prefer Mika in the match is that if she gets him to the corner, if she gets
Birdie doesn't have reversal.
Exactly, it's basically game over. And her damage potential in the corner is just so much higher.
And even her comeback,
mm-hmm.
her comeback factor is just so strong.
Yeah, exactly. But like Ryu kind of doesn't really have that. So if he loses control of the match, it's going to be an uphill battle. Mm-hmm. So when I actually fought King Funk in the first game, I got an opportunity to put him in the setup. And the first two times he blocked. And I was like, wow, this guy is really just going to sit here and block. And the third time, I went for the command grab, and it worked. I was like, wow, the practice actually paid off. I was able to effectively prepare for an opponent I knew I was going to have to play against a character that I'd struggled against and came up with a setup specifically for him, and it worked. And I hit it in a real match, and I won. And it was close, man. Like, it was funny,
last
too.
Last round?
I don't remember. I think it was 2-0, but all I remember is that I put him in the situation 3 times, and the third time it worked. But I also remember in the first game, he hit me with Wake Up Super. And in the second game, he did it to me again. But the first time he hit me, the second time I jumped, so it didn't hit me. And then he went for he had me down in like the second round of the third game. And I did Wake Up Super to him.
That must felt good.
It felt so good. And then he had like a pixel left, and I killed him with a low jab. But like in my mind, I knew that I just kind of felt that because he was such a smart player, that I could do something like dumb that might like kind of set him off. And if he's watching it, I mean, we already had this conversation because I told him because I respected him so much as a player that and as a smart player that I knew I had to train specifically for him. But with that said, like you have to be able to like categorize certain players, and I find that guys that are really smart tend to, if you can come up with something to like rattle them or to make them be like, oh, why would he do that? Then like that can be like the turning point in the match.
Makes them think, right?
Yeah, because then it like puts their really smart brain into overload, you know. So I beat him, and then I thought for sure I was gonna have to fight the guy from Morocco. There were two guys I really didn't want to fight.
What characters did?
This guy was using. I played him with. He was using Birdie. And he beat me really bad. But yeah, of the two guys I really didn't want to fight, it was this guy from Morocco and the guy. His name is Frionel KOF. He's like a KOF guy.
Okay.
And then CCL from Belgium. I was like, dude, if I have to fight these two guys, like I'm done.
I'm not gonna win, right?
But luckily for me, Frionel had to fight this guy from Italy. And this was a guy that I'd played on Saturday in casuals. And this guy was supposed to be the best KOF player in Italy. And he played Nikali. And it was because I played him in casuals that I knew what to expect. But lucky for me, he beat Frionel. And so it was me and the guy from Italy in winners finals.
So you weren't as paranoid. Like you felt like you have an upper hand, or you were just more confident.
Because I had beaten him pretty well
in casuals.
Because I guess one of the things that I forgot to mention is that Friday night to Saturday, it became clear to me that my Ryu was not at the level that I thought it was, but more importantly, that the region as a whole, Europe, was basically unfamiliar with Mika. Mm-hmm. And I asked my friend Victor, like, why? Because I'm like such a pro wrestling fan, you know. I love Mika. I love white girls, pro wrestling, and big titties. Like it's like that's my, you know, and big butts. Like,
that's Gootecks.
That's me. Like that's what I like. So Mika, obviously, she's done so well. She's just an amazing character, and she's so much fun. But when I asked my friend Victor, I'm like, wait, like why does nobody? Like, do you not watch wrestling? Like, you guys don't like wrestling? They're like, we don't really like wrestling. We don't appreciate wrestling.
Oh, the accent was perfect.
Oh, thank you. He didn't like it. I don't think they like it when I do my French accent. But yeah, Europe as a whole, with the exception of the UK guys, nobody appreciates wrestling. So I think because they don't like wrestling, they never took the time to play Mika. Mm-hmm. That's why there was only one other guy who also, you know, Ryux, the French commentator, who also was playing.
So that whole tournament, only you and him.
Basically.
How many entrants?
There were over 150, I think.
It's almost 200, and there's only two.
Yeah, there was not a lot of Mika players at all. So basically, that gave me a lot of confidence because I was like, oh, here I was thinking that my Mika sucked. But with the combination of downloading new tech from Ryux and knowing that these guys actually didn't know much about the character, I was like, oh man, this actually gives me a good feeling because I thought I was going to get bodied.
And of course, you're going to take advantage of that, right?
Yeah. So I made it out of my bracket made it out of my pool by beating the guy from Italy. And then once I got into top 32, yeah, I think it was top 32. I had to fight this guy from Spain that I'd fought at the after party. The guy that was using Ryu, and I beat him with Mika last game, last round. Oh my god! Like I watched the match on the plane on the way home. Oh, I was feeling myself so hard. The old guy next to me was like, "What is this guy doing?"
This guy watching porn?
Yeah,
What's he doing?
what is this? But yeah, so I fought that guy. I beat him last game, last round, and then I fought a Kami player from like Scandinavia or Norway or someplace like that. And I used Mika, even though from fighting Koryu, I think that Ryu on paper does better. But if you're not familiar with the match, it's
Too bad.
Too bad. So I beat that guy, and then finally, he was probably the only guy that I fought in tournament that I didn't play in casuals. But I beat him, and I tried to go for the new setup that I worked on for King Funk. And then finally, I guess in top 8, I had to fight Ryan Hart. And
That was your first match?
in top 8, yeah.
You made out winners, so.
Because I made it out in winners, so I did my first match against the guy from Spain, the second match against the Kami player, and then the third match was Ryan Hart. And we had played at Le Hive at the after party on Friday, and then we even trained me, him, and Big Bird, and a couple other guys. We trained on Saturday, so I had a fair. I played Ryan Hart maybe 4 sets, 3 or 4 sets. Between Friday and Saturday night, and yeah, I mean he beat me. Most of the sets were pretty close, but he beat me. Like I didn't beat him.
You used.
Man, I tried. Okay, so the first night he was using Ken. I was using Mika. I don't think I played him with Ryu, which was a mistake. I got so confident with Mika and so disillusioned with my Ryu that I had forgotten that I lost to Ken. That I used Ryu in both Wednesday night fights and in Portland. I used Ryu, so I should have just stuck with the game plan instead of thinking that Mika was the answer to all of my problems. So I wish I would have played him with Ryu to see how I did. Or maybe I did play in one game. I don't know. But on Saturday, he used Vega against me.
But Saturday was also casual.
Yeah, I mean, it was just casuals, but, I mean, in my mind, it still counted because I didn't win. So when I played him in tournament, he picked Ken, and I just stuck with Mika. And that was probably the match where I felt I did the worst. Like, that was the worst.
Worse as in like.
I just didn't play. I didn't play well. Like, I don't know. I was like in my head, or I mean, he played really well, and he caught me off guard with like a couple of wake up uppercuts, and
I actually watched it because I was messaging
Oh, yeah,
you.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
I
you
was
did message me.
messaging.
Yeah,
I
I know.
actually stayed up.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Real talk, guys. I am not that motivated in Street Fighter 5 right now. I don't know why.
Well, you got responsibilities.
I do, but right now I'm just not I'm not putting in the same effort I did in Street Fighter 4. I hope I will soon. But anyway, so I actually stayed up just to watch you play because you're
Thank
like
you.
the
I'm
only
sorry. I was the only North
friend that
American
actually
over
went
there.
that too, right? And one of the closer friend there. I was watching Big Bird too. Shout out to you because I always talk to Big Bird on Facebook. He would ask me about text and stuff, but I always share with him. But anyways, so I stayed up to watch and root for you. But I didn't think you played too bad. I think you just couldn't. You were so scared to use your setups. You got mind fucked by his DPs already.
Yeah.
To a point that you're like, I'm gonna play safe with Mika. Then I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, if you're playing safe with Mika,
you pretty
change your
lost.
character. You lose,
Yeah.
But I think you still did okay. I think you came back with a round, and then you were close to getting a game, but then you kind of messed up with your execution there.
Oh yeah, there was definitely a couple execution errors, and there's no excuse to have execution errors. You're trying to compete at the highest level, and that's why you lost. It's like, well, should have trained harder.
Right.
So yeah, props to Ryan Hart. I mean, Yeah, I lost, and then in losers bracket, I had to fight Phenom, who is a Bison player, and
Very good Bison player.
yeah, we played in casuals. We only got to play like 1, 2 out of 3 before he got called for his Street Fighter 4 match, and
So
I played
casual Oslo Mika.
yeah, I played Mika and I used Ryu, and I felt like I had a fair amount of experience in the Ryu Bison match, and because I trained a lot with Afro Cole and this other dude Dog Teeth down in SoCal, and I played that match a lot, but what I hadn't played is the Mika Bison match, and I guess I think it was because how sometimes when you're playing on one station for a lot and you're just kind of going through a lot of people because you're winning, you kind of get into this mode of just you could go into autopilot.
Autopilot?
Mode.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened in my first game with Phenom, and he told me, he was like, yeah, I was just jumping in at you for free. So, and he told me that he thought that my Ryu was better in that match. So when I went up against him in the tournament, I was like, well, I'm just going to pick Ryu because I feel comfortable in the match. I played him.
Oh, no. He baited you into choosing Ryu. I'm just joking.
I don't think he did it on purpose.
No, he did not.
But a more devious player definitely could have taken that approach. And that was an instance. See, it's like I had it reversed. Against Ryan Hart, I should have played Ryu.
Right.
And against Phenom, I should have just stuck with Mika. But instead, I had it switched. I picked Ryu, and my friend Victor was like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, don't play Ryu, play Mika. And I deviated from the game plan. He bodied me that first game really bad. And then when I switched to Mika, like, I did a little bit better. And I felt that if I would have just stuck to the plan.
It was too late, huh?
It was too late.
The second game was too late.
So, yeah, I lost. And I was out. And I was super salty that I
didn't stick with your game plan.
I didn't stick with the game plan.
That's something I really hate in tournaments.
Yeah, man.
And that's also, an issue when you have more than one main character.
Yeah.
I think that's something, everyone has, like the same problems. Like, oh, should I use this and that? But we have just one character. You know how to think.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. And, some characters I think can excel at that.
Yeah.
Like Ryu is, definitely balanced enough to, to fight anybody. But Mika, man, like, it's tough, man. So I was out. I ended up at 5th. So it was the 3rd tournament in a row that I got 5th. But I got points.
Good points. And you were the only American there, and you actually did better than Kindavu, who got 9th.
Yeah, so that was interesting too because I don't know Kindevu. I mean, I don't speak Japanese. Like, I don't know him that way. But one thing that my friend Victor pointed out to me was that all the time that, because Kindevu won Street Fighter 4 and KOF, but all the time that he spent playing those games and winning those tournaments was time that the rest of us spent playing 5.
Mm-hmm.
And, if, and I don't, it's not like saying, it's not anything about Kindevu, but if anyone chooses to allocate their time on playing a different game other than, the newest game that's like most important, then maybe, you have an opportunity cost of playing these other games, even if you win. But who cares? Who cares?
We only care about Street Fighter 5 now, right?
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe, I doubt it, but I'm pretty sure that he went because he wanted to win Street Fighter 5, not because he cared about KOF and 4.
Right.
So that was something that Victor pointed out to me that I was like, oh, wow, I didn't really think about that. And I felt good because some people were like, oh, are you going to enter Street Fighter 4? I'm like, hell no, I'm not wasting my time. I'm never going to play this game ever again. And so, yeah, it worked out that I learned that I should play as much casuals as possible. And it worked out for me because I basically didn't have to fight anybody. I mean, I guess King Funk I hadn't fought before and the Kami guy. But everybody else, I played in casuals. And there was an opportunity to play, and it worked out.
And it definitely helped, huh?
It helped. For me, it helped. So then got home, or I guess that was the end of France. The following day, went to Kayane's place to train because she's playing Chun. So I played the Nash matchup actually. So I kind of learned how to play Nash because Nash was on my list of like characters to learn, and Chun was on my list of characters to figure out what to do about. So I got a fair amount of experience in that match, and then the next day, I flew back to North America to be here for for VSB and for Virtual Battle Royale. But I guess we'll talk about that next time. So thanks for watching. We'll see you later.
See you guys next time.
All right, guys, thanks for watching AirBehr Dojo. Hope you enjoyed it. Please hit the subscribe button right below the video to get notified when we put up new videos or when Air and Bear put up new videos. And for more Air, you want to check out the Air Ryu on Twitter, as well as like him on Facebook. Check out Vancouver Street Battle here in Burnaby, British Columbia. If you want more good old Gootecks, you can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Gootecks, as well as check out my latest book on Amazon Kindle called Fighting Game Fundamentals. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you later.
Make sure you subscribe.